Welcome students. Now we studied about the motivation. Motivation is a condition that initiates, guides and maintains behaviors till some goal is reached or the response is blocked. Motivation consists of three aspects. First, a state within organism that drives its activity. This state may be caused by bodily needs, environmental stimuli, or mental events such as memories and thoughts. A behavior arousal and directed by the state. And third, the goal or aim towards which the behavior is directed. Thus, motives initiate behavior and direct it towards a goal. Motivation, a dynamics of behavior, internal process that initiate, sustain and direct activities. Need or desire that energize or direct behavior. A psychological feature that arouses an organism to action toward a desired goal. The reason for the action, which gives purpose and direction to behavior. Push of mental force to accomplish an action. Motivational model. Need, an internal deficiency. Drive, an energizing motivational state. Response, an action or series of action to attain the goal. Goal, the target of the motivated behavior. You can see the model of motivation. Need motivate the drive, and need direction to the drive and response, goal and need reduction, and equilibrium normal. Needs can be objective and physical, such as food and water, or they can be subjective and psychological, such as the need for self-esteem. Drive is the force that goals the organism to satisfy the needs. Need is a requirement that has to be fulfilled. It is our needs that create a state of arousal called drive. Drive keeps us motivated and working to fulfill the need. Homeostasis, the ability or tendency of an organism or cell to maintain internal equilibrium by adjusting its physiological process. The relatively constant condition within organism or the physiological process by which such conditions are maintained in the face of external variations. So it is standing steady or steady state need produced by a process known as homeostasis. Our biological drives maintain our homeostasis. When our body deviates from the optimal level, automatic reaction begin to make it steady as. If you feel too hot, more blood will flow through skin, thus lowering body temperature. We are normally not aware of such changes unless continued disequilibrium drives us to move to a shady place, warmth, food and water. Types of motives. Primary motives, basic drives, initiative or inborn character, purpose, self-preservation or species of preserving unlearned. You can think it can unlearned. Or stimulus motives, in the primary motives express needs to stimulation and information. Example include activity, curiosity, explanatory, manipulation, and physical contact. Although such motives also appear to be innate, they are not strictly necessary for survival. The stimulus motives, the primary motives, the first is called primary drive and the other one is called the secondary drive. Primary drive are unlearned and they are essentially a function of maturation. Secondary drive refer to motives that are acquired by the process of learning, though drives themselves are mostly not learned. The goals satisfying the drives and the behavior helping the attained of this goal are learned. Anyhow, an elements of learning enters into secondary drives. Primary drives consist the physiological drive. Example, those drives which stem of internal need or physiological state within the body, and general drives, those drives that are not based on any specific physiological need but are also not learned. Secondary motives comprise of social motives and learned fears. These motives are essentially characteristic of human beings. Secondary motives occurred as part of the socialization process. Motives based on learned need, desires, and goals only consider of secondary motives once our primary motives have been satisfied. We can study the motives. This is important in the lesson because we go into the stress management. We can roughly see the motives. Hunger, thirst, sleep, temperature regulation, elimination, these are fundamental one of our living. And you see, maternal drives. What is the maternal drives? Maternal behavior, especially in lower animals, is instinctive in nature. This unlearned physiological drive causes maternal behavior. The maternal drive is based on hormones secreted during the pregnancy and immediately thereafter. One important hormone known as produce maternal drive is known as prolactin. This is secreted by the pituitary gland. Hypothalamus, which regulates many physiological processes including sex and maturity, is associated with the primary pituitary gland. During pregnancy, when prolactin is secreted, it activates the mammary glands, enabling it to supply milk for the young ones. It also stimulates maternal behavior. Injection of prolactin in a virgin rat induced it to look after the young ones of the rat whose prolactin was injected into it. In the sex based on sex hormones are secreted by the testes of the males and the ovaries of the females. These hormones are responsible for the sexual behavior of males and females and for the development of the secondary sex characteristics such as hair distribution, vocal characteristics and a masculine or feminine body forms. These occur when the sex glands mature at the pituitary. Interest in the opposite sex regulates a peak during this period. Though sex hormones play a vital role to stimulate sexual behavior, sex hormones themselves do not explain such behavior, since there are causes of men and women who with a normal supply of sex hormones are either impotent or frigid. Also, animals like monkeys and chimpanzees show greater sexual motivation even when hormonal supply is minimal. In summary, we may say that sex hormones are important for the development of physical, sexual characteristic and sexual motivation. However, the importance of sex hormones in sexual behavior is lesser among higher animals than they are among lower animals. In the case of human beings and other higher animals, habits is more important than sex hormones. In addition, societal disposition and controls account for the sexual behavior of human beings. In the C, curiosity, stimuli that are novel evoke interest, and it is called the curiosity drive. Animals, children, and adults show such curiosity in novel situations. Rats explore new maze animals, and children explore and manipulate new objects like an other drive. Curiosity drive can also be satisfied. Thus is evidenced by the fact that interest in new objects and a situation get diminished after some times. For instance, children became active with the new toys, but after sometimes they lost interest in them. Manipulative drives cannot be totally considered to be a distinctive from curiosity drives. This is due to the fact that exploring a novel situation cannot be delinked from what is experienced. A motive to manipulate is a strong one, and it motivates learning. We usually observe that children and adults manipulate things such as toys and instruments which they happen to come across the first time. An experiment cited by Harlow and MacLean clearly shows the pressure of motives for manipulation. 3 monkeys were presented with 7 problems to learn. In each of the problems, 2 screws of different colors were presented, of which one was removable and the other was not. The monkeys' responses were scored correct if they removed the removable screws without trying to remove the other one. The learning process was not rewarded with any other reward that of being able to do this experiment correctly. The monkey were able to make reasonably good discrimination between the screw eyes. Affectional drive, need to love and be loved, is strong in human beings and can easily be observed. Our love for friends and relatives, not pets and oblivious. And also, pet also oblivious. The affectional drive may be unlearned and may emerge in normal course of maturation, or may be learned through experience with the people, since it is only through people that individuals are able to satisfy their physiological needs like hunger, taste, sex, etc. Affectional drive can include both. Affectional drive may be unlearned, but the affection for a particular person or object may be learned. The experiment of Harlow, this is one of the important experiment in the affectional drive. Harlow with the baby monkeys show the emergence of affection towards those who are helpful in satisfying the physiological drive. He proved two kinds of mother surrogated substitute, one made out of wires and another made with sponge and covered with cloth. The former was called wire mother and later the called cloth mother. Milk bottles were made available for one of set of monkeys with wire mother and with cloth mothers for another set of monkeys. It was found that the baby monkeys were fed by the wire mothers spent more of the time with them, and those that were fed by the cloth mothers spent more of their time with the cloth mothers. This clearly shows that affection developing towards those who satisfying livings the physiological needs of individual. Secondary motives. In the secondary motives is most of the social motives. We call it social motives. Need for achievement, need for affiliation. Need for affiliation. The need to be with other people is referred to an affiliation. This need is revealed by need to be attached to others through friendship, sociability, or group members. The need to rely on other, which is known as dependency motive, is closely related to the need of affiliation. The need of social approval, norms or standards set by the group, broadly indicates what kind of behavior are expected of the individuals in the group. Generally speaking, every individual strives to conform to the social expectations. Hence, motives seek social approval for our action and to avoid such of those activities that are likely to meet with the social disapproval in common one tries to know that is socially approved and what is disapproved and acts in the appropriate manner. Needs of status. Almost all individuals have desire to have some status and a standing or position among the people of the society or group. At any rate, nobody likes to consider inferior. The need for status ranges from desire to be respectable in the eyes of one's fellow man and desire to achieve maximum possible status. The desire for such status could be in one's class, jobs, or community. Aggression. When the satisfaction of any need or desire is stopped, it results in frustration. This creates a feeling of hostility or anger. Depending upon the source of frustration, the hostility is directed toward numerous things and persons. Display of aggression varies from individual to individual and also between one culture and another. Since conflicts are so firmly rooted on the training, and the motives or individuals have learned and acquired. Already we know, understand about the interest and attitude. Okay, thank you, student.